Well, it's getting more evident that there's clearly a difference between a Sony Marvel film and a Disney MCU Marvel film. Let's talk about Venom, Let There Be Carnage, or Let There Be Garbage. What up, party peoples? Bobo here with BrassReel Brothers. Thanks for coming back for some more popcorns. Well, I'm elbow deep in editing my videos for a BrassReel Halloween Year 2. But like I said in one of my past live streams, this October is becoming more like the summer as far as movie releases are concerned. So I went and saw Venom 2 today. Yeah, I'm calling it that. I'm not even giving it the full title. Man, I was disappointed with this. And look, I'm one of those guys who really enjoyed the first movie. Yeah, it had some flaws for sure, but I still had a good time with it. I feel like it was about a B in grading terms and in sort of just style of movie. But like I said, I really did still have a good time with it. This one was just sort of a stretch. I felt like you could tell that they were trying to release a sequel because of the success of the first one, not because they had a good story to tell. And for me, a comic book nerd to the fullest, somebody who loves the character of Carnage and Venom, they just didn't do Carnage justice in this movie. It was directed by Andy Serkis this time around, this is his directorial debut. He got his fame for doing the motion capture for Gollum in Lord of the Rings and then doing King Kong, Planet of the Apes, it goes on. Andy's actually acted in some stuff too. Well, now we get to see his skills behind the camera, and I gotta say, I wasn't too impressed. It wasn't that it necessarily looked bad or anything like that. It was just really silly and cheesy a lot of the time. It felt a lot smaller than the first movie just on scale in general, even while they're trying to add more of the characters from the Spider-Man universe in there. Mainly by adding the character Shriek on top of the character of Carnage. And we get coverage of Ravencroft and all that stuff, and then do a small little origin for Cletus Cassidy, who's Carnage, Woody Harrelson's character, which he's a serial killer in the comic books. His origin is really awesome in the comics, and they just did not pay it justice in this. They did some cool stuff with like a little animated flashback scene of why he was in prison and why he was a serial killer, him killing his family and stuff like that. That was kind of cool, but for the most part, they just didn't make him menacing enough in my opinion. And I didn't really like Woody as Cletus Cassidy a whole lot. Not to mention that they completely went away from that awesome wig he had on at the end of the first movie. The plot is just not good either. I'm not going to give anything away. I will give you something away at the end. One little spoiler at the end. But I'll tell you before that's coming. They just figure out a way for you to get infected, which you see that even online. They've already released all this stuff online of how he's about to get killed lethal injection style. And he had previously bitten Eddie and gotten some of his symbiote blood in his mouth. And the whole catalyst of it all together forms Carnage. It was a little in my opinion. But like I said, you saw that whole thing online before the movie was even released. But overall, my main complaint of the film, which I didn't like a whole lot of it, was that it was really silly and comedic the entire time.
Good evening, Venom.
Mrs. Chen.
Like, you remember when Eddie and Venom are fighting with each other internally and there's all that inner monologue and stuff like that? They went way too far with that this time and just really made it childish, to be honest.
Wow. Yeah.
But the main plot is just basically based around Cletus Cassidy, Carnage, trying to get his girlfriend, Shriek, out of the Ravencroft facility. All of it just felt very shoehorned in there. The pace of the movie, I just didn't really care for. It honestly reminded me a lot of the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie, which was fine for its time, but one of the things about the Venom movie, the first one that didn't work, was it felt like it was a movie from the 90s. And this one felt the same way, even though it was a different director, which Ruben Fleischer, first film, I thought he did a better job, personally. I mean, look, the scenes with Carnage are cool. The scenes with Venom and Carnage are cool, but there's all of these holes in the way that they use Venom, just like in the first movie where sometimes when Venom latches onto someone, it kills him, and then when he latches onto Michelle Williams' character, she just transfers the symbiote. I get that the symbiote can be symbiotic with some people and not with others, but it's only supposed to be symbiotic with Eddie. It just really starts to go off the rails, so much to where Venom, the symbiote, leaves Eddie's body and goes gallivanting around town, starts chilling out in the club. Yeah, we get Venom dropping a mic.
Thank you.
No Oh, and another thing, Carnage's voice sounds way too much like Venom's voice. I always thought of Carnage sort of being real sadistic, almost goblin sounding, but it's just real deep and everything. It just sounds very similar to Venom. I really just thought it had a weak story. It's not near as good as the first one. And even while the fights were cool most of the time between Carnage and Venom, by the end, the fight scene is stupid. The ending is stupid. I really just thought it was a bad movie. Just goes to show you, Marvel movies going forward need to have Disney involved. Now, spoiler alert, there's one saving grace thing about this film that I did enjoy, was the post-credits scene. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. All I'm gonna say is Tom Holland's Spider-Man's in it. And it definitely seems like Venom's gonna be in the MCU moving forward. Look, you're gonna see this all online tomorrow anyways, that's why I saved it to the end of the video. Overall, I give Venom Let There Be Carnage a D. The only reason it's not an F is because of the little Spider-Man tie-in at the end. There was a cool little mini Stan Lee cameo, and they had this Lethal Protector comment that was a little Easter egg for us comic book fans. But other than that, it was a huge step down from the first one. Well, I'm gonna get back to work on my Halloween videos, guys. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and hit the like button if you enjoyed it. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button so you can help us make it to the top. Look for BrassReel Brothers on Facebook, look for Bobby Williams on Facebook, and look for BrassReel Brothers on Twitter. And as always, if life gives you lemons, make some hot, fresh popcorns.
Either neither. Let's call the whole thing off.